I'm going to show you one of the most insane traps against the French defense that you will ever see. I have caught multiple 23, 24, 2,500 rated players with this trap. It's such a natural looking line, and then bam, we surprise them with an unexpected move. So I'm going to show you that. This is part 5 in a series where I'm helping you build an opening repertoire with the white pieces after you play e4. And today we're talking about how to beat the French defense in a very surprising and unorthodox way. I think you guys are going to really appreciate this. Now, before we jump into the lines, I want to remind you guys my Breaking 1500 course is on sale for Black Friday. There's like a special bundle where we've included some extra courses. Link's going to be in the description. Make sure you check that out. Okay, so against the French defense, I struggled for many years, and I never liked playing against it because after d4, d5, I always felt like Black was more prepared than me. Like, they've played this so many times. I only face it every once in a while, and I just didn't like the positions that I would get into, and it always felt like Black just knew more than I did. So for the longest time, I was trying to find a way to surprise them that actually was something that fit my style, an aggressive, kind of, how can I attack their king, right? That's what I was looking for. And I finally found it with the move bishop to e3, the Alapin Gambit. And you'll notice two things about this move. First of all, we're not defending our pawn. We're just giving them the pawn for free, which is why it's called the Gambit, the Alapin Gambit. The other thing is that it's lining up here with our pawn. And this is interesting because the French defense players a lot of times like to play the move c5 pretty early, lets out their queen, puts pressure on the center. But now if they do it, we actually just have the option to recapture in a lot of lines, and it's not that simple for them to recapture. So it gives them more to think about, okay? So almost everybody here is going to take this pawn. It's a free pawn. It's the most natural move. Pretty much everybody takes it. Low-rated players, high-rated players, like everybody just takes the pawn. And now we play the move f3. And this is, if you've watched the previous videos in this series, you will remember I like to play gambits like this to open up the f-file. And we actually are going to get some very similar positions as we've already seen in the previous videos, and which is really nice because when you learn the system, you can play like all these different openings and kind of get the same type of position, which is very, very helpful, right? So first I want to show you the trap. Okay, they can take the pawn, or a lot of people like to defend. And what they're trying to do with defending is say, look, if you take me, now my knight gets to jump into the center, and I'm threatening queen h4 check, and I'm going to cause you a lot of problems. So what do? We say, okay, bishop d3. You pretend like you don't see it. Like, oops, I forgot about queen h4 check. Now, what's interesting here, guys, and you may or may not know this, but in a normal chess game, when there is a knight on e4, and there is an open diagonal to the king like this, if the queen lands on h4, 9 times out of 10, it's going to be good for Black because they're going to cause you the problem of like, well, you don't want to move your king and lose castling rights, but if you play g3, they take you, and you can't take back because you lose your rook. That is why it's usually good for Black. So why are we playing this? Well, because we have a special bishop on e3, which is not normally sitting there, and that changes everything. Let me show you. g3, they take us. We have this amazing move, bishop to f2. We pin the knight, and they can no longer take our rook because we take their queen. This changes everything. And now this is actually just a blunder. They're going to lose their knight. They can try to defend it for one more move, but we can attack it with the queen. And now, we're going to just take this back. You will also notice we've also defended our rook, so we're no longer losing our rook. And so they end up losing the knight. The game goes on, but it's a very good position for us. We're just up a piece. So like I said, I've caught lots of strong players with this trap. It's very, very natural for them to think, oh, queen h4 check is a good move. And then they don't realize that bishop f2 actually is winning for you. Okay? So very, very clever trap. Please remember that one. I promise you will catch a lot of people with this, especially in blitz. Like, everybody just goes for that. Okay, now, that was if they played knight to f6. They don't have to do that. They can also just take. And what's interesting is a lot of times you will end up with the exact same position. So let me explain this. If they take us first, we come out with the knight, they develop, and we play bishop b3. Look carefully at this position. We got 3 pieces here. They've got the knight on f6, right? I'm going to go back for a second. If they do play knight f6, we take, they take, we attack them, and they realize, oh, I'm about to get trapped with bishop f2. If they somehow see that, and they move their knight back, now we play knight f3. Look at this. We have the exact same position. Okay? So regardless of how they do it, if they want to defend their pawn first, or if they want to take you first, you will most of the time will end up with this position right here. Okay, so this is kind of like the most common position you're going to face. Just wanted to point that out. So our plan is very simple. We're going to castle kingside to make use of this open F file. And most people are going to castle kingside. Not everybody. Sometimes they try to get all these pieces and castle the other way, which is a little bit annoying. But probably 80 to 90% of the time, I think they're going to castle this way. Okay, this is great. This is exactly what we want. And I've said this before in the previous videos, but when this pawn is gone, it allows us to sneak our queen over to the king side very easily. Let's go queen e1, and let's make some moves for black. Queen h4. This is going to be our general plan of attack, attacking on h7. And you say, well, they have a knight defending it. Yeah, but all we have to do is get rid of the knight, and then we have checkmate. So bishop g5. And if black's not paying attention, they play some random move. Thank you very much. The game is over. Okay? So keep this in the back of your mind as like a general plan of attack. And now let's talk about what if they play some better moves that maybe stop you from doing that. So the first one that I think we should talk about is, what if they defend their knight with the other knight, right? This is pretty common. And now they're thinking, okay, if we take, they're going to take back with their knight and keep it defended. We actually have a very powerful move here. If you'd like to pause. All right, if you had a chance to look at that. So we also, in addition to the threat here, we also have a pin on this knight. And we have a very clever way to take advantage of that by playing bishop takes h7 check. Because the king can't take us because our queen is defending. So if black wants to take this, they have to use the knight. But by using the knight, they've opened up this. And guess what? Now we jump in with a nice fork and we're just winning material. Okay, so that's a good one to remember. So you can see how tricky it is. Like, it's not that easy for black to deal with this threat. You can't play knight d7 because of what I just showed you. Okay, what else can they play? h6. Stopping our queen from getting there. 9 times out of 10, when they play this move, we're going to sack our bishop. Because once you get this position, it's even more difficult for them to defend their king, because now not only do we still have this threat, but now we have ideas of bringing our rook up somewhere and checkmating this way. And it's very easy to do. We're going to bring our knight to g5. So for example, let's say they go here, we're going to play knight to g5. And now our rook can swing up and over. Obviously, you don't want to just lose it to the bishop, but sometimes they don't fianchetto the bishop, so you could play rook f3. Just keep that in the back of your mind, and you can checkmate like this. Or there's also this threat of bishop h7 check. And what you will notice is they can no longer take us because this is just checkmate. Okay, so what do they have to do? They have to move their king. And now we have all types of good moves. If you would like to pause, there's actually a forced checkmate here. Or if you had a chance to look at that. So bishop to f5 check is probably the easiest way. So we're attacking the king. They can't block, of course, because we just take, so they have to go back. Now you can sacrifice your knight here. It's a fork. You're threatening checkmate here with the queen. And if they take you, you come in with check. Only move is rook f7. And by the way, guys, you don't have to memorize all this. Just know that like it's a very strong attack. The move is rook f5, okay? And this is a good point. When you're bringing your rook up, you don't always have to go here and here. Like maybe you go here and here. Or since there's a knight there, in this case, you go to f5 and g5, right? Like there's lots of ways that rook can come over. And so you identify this one's no good, this one's no good. Oh, these two squares are open. Go to f5, we're coming to g5. And black actually has no way to stop this. This rook is pinned, so it can't move. The king can't move. Black has no moves. They can play knight e5 to delay it, but you just go check and mate. Okay, that was a lot. I'm not expecting that you have to memorize all that or that you would necessarily see all that. The point is, just know sacking the bishop is totally fine. And if you ever get a position like this, you're probably going to be winning after knight g5. Okay, let's go back and look at another option. Let's say they play g6 here. Okay, we looked at h6. We looked at knight d7. g6, what is the main weakness that it creates? Well, yeah, these dark squares, right? So maybe we can't take advantage of that immediately, but as the game goes on, this is going to be a problem for black. And so Stockfish recommends knight e5. And I guess the point is after they go here, now you're threatening to take. We already saw this one where there's a fork. If they take with the queen, now this is weak. So you can take this and you win a piece here. So just, again, another example of how you're taking advantage of those tactics. Let's say they don't play that. They play a better move like, I don't know, rook e8. Nope, that's also a blunder. I didn't even know this one myself. Wow. Yeah, if you want to pause, white has a really nice move here. All right, if you had a chance to look at that, knight takes f7. What is happening? The king takes. Queen comes in because it's pinned. And this is checkmate. Look at this, guys. This is why this opening is so much fun. Like, I didn't even know that one, but that tactic just popped up out of nowhere. Like, so you always have to kind of be thinking, like, maybe I could sack my bishop, maybe I could sack my knight, you know. Yeah, this is kind of the general idea behind the opening. Okay. Let me see if I forgot anything. I think that's pretty much it. I will tell you this. There's one refutation to this line. I'll say refutation. I'm not going to share it because I don't want to make it easy for people to know what to play against this. But it's like only been played against me, I think, 2 or 3 times. And I think I won like half the games that they play the refutation. So it's not exactly a refutation. And if somebody plays it, they're probably just cheating, or they've specifically studied this opening and found exactly what to do. But like I said, it's extremely rare. I don't think you'll see it very often. And so I highly recommend the Alapin Gambit. It's a lot of fun. And by the way, if they don't take you, I should just point this out. You can still kind of play the same thing. So like, let's say they do some random move. You can play F3. This might encourage them to transpose into the same line that we already talked about. But if for some reason they're like, nope, I don't want to take it, I'm going to just do some random thing. Well, you can always push by. Nothing wrong with that. And gain some space that way. Or you can just develop your pieces, bring out your knight, you know, bring out your queen, castle queenside, and then maybe like attack with your pawns. This could be another strategy. This is pretty rare. I think most people are going to be taking you, but if they don't, I just wanted to kind of show you that little bonus tip there. So guys, don't forget, Breaking 1500, my course, there's a Black Friday bundle sale. Check it out. Links in the description. Make sure you subscribe, and I'll put the maybe up here, the playlist where you can watch the other videos in this series so you can build that repertoire with white and get some fun, exciting, and aggressive games. Let me know questions, comments. Thank you guys for watching. As always, stay sharp, play smart, and take care.